Welcome back to What Can Brown. I've got a kind of a different topic today in that we're actually not going to cover any, sort of music analysis or even history of jazz. Going to cover some acquisitions, and the reason why is because I went to the Atlanta Record and CD show this morning. It's one of these shows that happens every couple of months or so. Typically in like a hotel, conference room, or in this case, I want to say it was like a union headquarters of some like, I don't know, tradesperson kind of union thing or something. So anyway, always weird locations, but this is the only game that we have in town. Like you can either go to, physical stores to get records, or you can go to this one record show that they have every few months. And otherwise you have to like drive to Birmingham to like go to the big record shows that they have there. So anyway, I don't know. I have like a love-hate relationship with record shows. I love them because I always end up getting great stuff for a reasonable price. I hate them because of just the process and like the people sometimes. there's just weird. We're a weird bunch, okay? Like record collectors are just strange. And everybody looks the same. I mean, here's the thing. Everybody's like a white middle-aged man, usually looking pretty disheveled. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't care what people look like. It's just a weird, sometimes depressing place to be. It's a bunch of people crowded in a room, all looking down, just going like this. Take away the records and everybody looked like they were out of their mind. So it's a weird situation, and like, plus like the flu's going around, and I was like, do I really want to be sitting around talking, or standing around, having to interact with these folks? By the way, I don't like to interact with strangers that much. Like I usually don't even say a word when I when I go into a record show. Just because I want to get in and out. I don't want to interact. I don't know. It's just that's not for me. As much as I like interacting in this type of situation, I like having people over and talking about music and that type of thing. I just strangers. I don't know. So anyway, I still found myself going to the record show today. The other interesting thing about these record shows is you basically have two options, right? You have the early bird option. You can show up at about, I think, 8 or 8:30 and pay $4 to get in. Or you can show up at 10 and pay $10 to get in. And I've done both. Sometimes I do early bird, sometimes I do later. You'd be surprised though. Like, I think that all these dealers are talking, but probably before anybody comes in, and anybody else. And I think that if they're going to be like dealing, if they have like super collectible stuff, everybody in the room's going to know about it already. They're already going to have done their trades. They're going to be like looking through each other's stuff. And so, I mean, yeah, I suppose you might be able to get, stuff if you do the early bird thing before anybody else. Most people just wait until 10. Which is also interesting to me because the amount of money that people spend on records, and then they're like, no, that extra $6, no, I'm waiting until 10. I'm not letting them get that. So I don't know. Like I said, I've done both. I always come out of there with good stuff. I think it's because no one else is interested in looking at jazz, or they're not willing to like get down on their knees basically and like look through some of the boxes on the floor, because that's usually where the good stuff is. If you see something in a sleeve that's been individually priced, they've probably looked it up. They know what it's worth. So more of the deals are stuff where nothing is organized, all genres, right? And usually like unpriced. And there's definitely plenty of that. There's sort of like the amateur sellers, right? I usually like when I go into one of these places, I'm like, all right, I'm not seeing the dealer. I'm not seeing the place that has everything in pristine white boxes and everything's in a sleeve. I want to go to the ones that look like a little bit more disheveled, where there's somebody there who doesn't look like they're comfortable being there, who's not interacting with anybody, and they have like 20 boxes all lined up and nothing is like marked. Like there's no like rock section or anything. That's usually the stuff that I like to go to, and where I find better stuff, better deals. So anyway, I came out of the show today not with the several dozen that I typically do. Lately, I feel like I've been trying to be a little bit more particular with what I buy, just because this room is so filled up with records. So anyway, I did come out with some good stuff, and I just wanted to share it with you. All right, so I'm going to go through these pretty quick. No music analysis yet. Haven't listened to any of these, but yeah, just kind of wanted to run through it in case you're wondering, what is it like going to the Atlanta Record Show at 10 a.m. on a Sunday? So first one I picked up is actually a brand new title. Now, remember, a lot of times you're going to have sort of amateurs. You're going to have the same people, right, that continuously go to these shows. You also have shops from around town that are trying to like promote their businesses. They bring used, they bring new. So picked up Jamie Branch's Fly or Die. International Anthem label is such a great label. They put out a lot of really interesting stuff. Jamie Branch, quite unfortunate situation. A fantastic trumpeter. She very recently passed away. But I realized I didn't have this particular title. Have some stuff that she plays on, but not this one. And I saw it there, and I was like, I might as well buy it. Support a local store. So excited to hear that one. Next up, some of these are like completely blind buys, but not blind buys like I'd never seen them before. Blind buys like just, I'm aware of it, but I hadn't heard it. And this is one such example. It is called Ashanti by Alvin Queen. So what drew me into this is, well, the fantastic cover. I've actually seen other people post this on Instagram, and so I was kind of aware of it. I think that even though it's like, I want to say it's late 70s or maybe early 80s, it is, where is it, 81? And this is, I think it was put out in like Switzerland and Germany, and maybe that's it. Or maybe it was Japan, I forget. But anyway, this is like the Swiss one, I think. But you've got John Hicks, Billy Saxton, Ray Drummond, Dusko Gojkovic, maybe, and then James Spalding. So cool lineup, cool cover. Excited to hear that one, and it's sealed. It's still sealed. Like, I don't know. I mean, that's cool. Obviously, I'm going to open it, listen to it. Next one is one I was actually surprised I don't own already, which is Teddy Edwards' Heart and Soul. This is a mono copy on the Contemporary label. Kind of a classic era for that label. They were sort of moving out of some of the stuffier sort of musicians that they had been recording, like Andre Previn and I'll say Shelly Manne, but I really like Shelly Manne. But some of his early stuff was a little stuffy, like Red Norvo, you know what I mean? Like some of that early stuff that was just not as interesting. This is super interesting though. Great lineup and in fantastic condition. $10. I mean, come on, $10. Like, I was very excited to see that one. Can't wait to listen to it. Next one, just in time for Christmas, is the incredible Jimmy Smith's Christmas 1964. This one is in shrink. It's got a laminated cover. Thing is with this one, I want to say that there's several cover versions, okay? I want to say that this is the earliest one. I know that there's a cooler cover with Jimmy Smith in a car, but I don't know that that's the earliest one. I think sometimes people have a tendency to like want to assume that the better cover, the better looking cover is the earlier one. I'm not sure actually with this one. This could be the first one. I'll look it up later. I don't know. But anyway, in great condition, $5. I mean, come on. If you're going to try to buy this like December 1st and later, you're going to pay way more than that on eBay or whatever. So anyway, excited to hear that one. Next up is Lonnie Smith, Funk Reaction. This is another blind buy, but another one that I was generally aware of. I'd seen other people talk it up on Instagram, and the internet connection was really bad in the room, so I couldn't like look up like reviews or like preview tracks while I was kind of digging through stuff. So I just grabbed it. I mean, it's cool. There's a large format here, a lot of musicians, but Lonnie Smith is great. Obviously did some stuff with Blue Note. This is the organ player, Lonnie Smith, not Lonnie Liston Smith. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Just a couple more. I didn't pull dozens today. I just kind of try to keep things a little contained. Plus I had to get out of there. Sometimes I'll spend like 3 or 4 hours in there, but not today. So this next one, Jackie McLean, Hypnosis. So this is one of those double disc sort of compilation things that Blue Note did in, 70s, early 80s, something like that. And what they did is they took shelved sessions, 2 in this case, put them together in one album and put it out. So, in fact, a number of the sessions that like Tone Poet has put out, right, or maybe even Music Matters, they either came from like this type of thing or like the Blue Note LT series. So anyway, neither session on this particular album have been reissued by Music Matters or Tone Poet, or sort of a similar outfit. I think that they might have been released by a Japanese company that was reissuing Blue Note stuff. But I think in the U.S. this is the only opportunity you got to hear this music. So one of the sessions is from 1962, recorded at Rudy Van Gelder's. It's Jackie with Kenny Dorham, Sonny Clark, Butch Warren, and Billy Higgins. That's a fantastic lineup. 1962. I think it's going to be great. The next one is 1967, and you've got Jackie with Gretchen Monker. Is that how you pronounce his name? I think so. Lamont Johnson on piano, Scotty Holt on bass, and Billy Higgins again on drums, also Rudy Van Gelder. So this is going to be a great one. Really excited to see this in the bins. And the last one is probably like the coolest. I mean, maybe, or at least for me, because I tend to prefer I tend to like some of the early stuff. So you've got Duke Jordan Jazz Laboratory series. Excuse me. There's a couple of these. I want to say like Hall Overton did one, but this is probably the better one just because it's Duke Jordan and not Hall Overton. But you got Gigi Grice here, Oscar Pettiford, and Kenny Clark, so it's a quartet format. I actually thought as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, this is way too clean. It's got to be a reissue. And it wasn't. It's not. It's original, and it's just clean. And this thing was $25. What's weird, like they knew that it was worth something, so they put 25 on it, but they didn't bother to like actually look it up to figure out what it would be worth. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, it's cool. It's on the Signal label. Great looking label. Deep groove and all that stuff. This thing is super clean. I mean, it's dusty, right? It's very dusty, in fact, but there's no scratches on it. So I was like shocked. Like obviously, I had to take this home with me. So anyway, very excited for the Atlanta Record Show. I'll keep coming back as I often do. I don't go to all of them, but I try to go when I can, and it never disappoints. So there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.